The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Play Some Video Games, the flagship show of the PSVG podcast network and the only gaming podcast more refreshing than a nice cold bottle of Nuka-Cola. It is I, your host, Kevin Austin, and with me this week, Mr. Josh Bones. How are we doing today, sir?
I am exhausted. How are you?
I'm doing okay. That's the theme if you guys listen to Board with Video Games. Josh is always exhausted when it's time to podcast.
I gotta stay on brand.
It's a way of life for him. It's okay, but he's all right. I promise. Also with us this week, Mr. Dev.
What up? Coming to you guys early for me for once.
I know, right? We got you working some overtime today, some OT.
Yep.
Ooh. Anyway, what we're here to talk about this evening, if you guys have been listening to the different shows throughout the last 2 weeks now or so, we are officially on our road to E3. So we're kind of taking a quick time out, jumping into each developer publisher that's doing a big showcase and talking about what we expect to see, what we hope to see, and then what we figure we are definitely not going to see this year at E3 2018. So tonight we will be talking about Bethesda. But before we do that, we want to talk a little bit about what we've been playing. So, Dev, why don't you go first?
Well, we all know that Destiny is back on the menu, so I've been in that super thick. Just been playing just a ton of Destiny. I'm loving it. The grind is there again, so it's been a lot of fun just chasing the different weapons and all the different secrets and stuff like that. So, got the crew back together, and we're going at it strong. That's
Cool. Yeah, I jumped into it a little bit too. Found out I need to grind more because I'm not powerful enough. So I got to jump in and play a little bit more when I get some time. But I did, however, wrap up a game this week. But I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about it on another show if Kyle can get his butt in motion. And I did wrap up Far Cry 5, and I guilted Donnie into wrapping up Far Cry 5 too. So, dude, I'll tell you, so far, I know we're only halfway through the year, not even halfway through the year. Game of the year for me, hands down. And we have yet to even see all the DLC that's coming our way and the remaster of Far Cry 3. This is the year of Far Cry, I think, for me, and I got no problem with that. So I think we'll talk more about that on another show. But the other thing, no surprise here, still playing a lot of Fortnite, grinding on that new season there. I know Josh is playing a bit now too and streaming some, so he's throwing that up there. But yeah, I'm still loving the game. I'm getting better at it, thankfully. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. Every time it's a crazy thing. And what they're doing now, they started a competitive mode, which, I mean, the game's competitive in itself, but they're actually taking for a couple of days, I think there's 2 days left on it, your 50 matches you can play in solo competitive mode. And wherever you place will be combined into a cumulative score. And they're actually going to give out V-Bucks, which is the currency in Fortnite, for people depending on their ranking from like 1 to top 50, I think. So there's a chance that some people get some free V-Bucks just simply for playing the game that they're already playing anyway. So I've been diving into that, but my daughter informed me today she played a couple rounds under my name in that mode. So I think my chances of getting anything might be gone, but we'll see. But that's it for me. So Josh, what have you been playing, man?
So I'm still grinding away at God of War. I think I talked about it. I talked about it on the OT. I talked about it on Board with Video Games. The last time I talked about it, I really wasn't feeling it, to be totally honest. Like, I wasn't feeling these 10s and 9.5s that everyone's given. And then I played it the other day, and then I got to a moment where I was like, okay, I'm back. Like, it sucked me right back in. So I guess there's just a lull for me. Like, the initial excitement of playing a God of War, a new one, and then I plateaued, doing all the same stuff. Everything's boring. And then, like, this one moment shoots me up to the roof, with excitement, and now I post on Discord. Now I want to just throw my son off of a cliff. Is the most annoying character in video game recent memory. So we'll see if that gets better. I don't anticipate it getting better. I think it's only going to get worse. And then Fortnite. Yeah, I've been playing Fortnite just because I get home from work really late. I need something to kind of relax myself before bed. So I've been streaming on Mixer, but the way it works, I got to download it to post to our YouTube. And I'm doing it because it's part of the Xbox quest for the month.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
So I need to get my whatever prize is, probably another free month of gold, which is great. Yeah, Fortnite makes me feel like how my parents felt watching me play Grand Theft Auto. I feel so old playing Fortnite. Like, I think I have pretty good hand-eye coordination and I'm pretty good at games, but man, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time in that game. I can't build walls and shoot a gun like these kids can do. Like, it's insane. So I don't know, man. I played the 50 versus 50 today.
Yeah.
And that's bonkers.
It is bonkers. When you get to that inner circle, it is nuts.
It's like
the stuff people are building and just chaos
what is
everywhere.
happening? There's just guns all over the place. There's people, like, at one point my team was up 27-2, and like it took them like 7 minutes to find the last guy and kill him. Like, there's not that much area to cover.
No, it's when they start building the crazy towers and stuff, and you're like, man, where'd they go? What floor are they on? People just go nuts. But yeah, it's crazy. It does get better, for sure. And building and fighting, that's still kind of hard for me too. It's better when you play with a duo or a squad that you actually know that can assist with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because like when I played, this was a couple weeks ago, with Justin, he would build like the little staircase things. And as I was just like gunning down people, he'd build a staircase so I could just walk up the staircase, keep shooting from a higher ground. So it's kind of like teamwork was able to go through that because neither one of us too. Same thing. It's the old man syndrome, I guess. Just doing it both at the same time. I don't know how people do it, but
I mean, that's pretty incredible, Kevin, that you were able to actually hold two controllers and build things with one controller and shoot with the other. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That doesn't sound old man at all.
There are no words. So anyway, let's move along here. So subject tonight, Bethesda, we said before, Bethesda likes to do things late. Thankfully, this year it's a little bit early. It's still later than most press conferences go, but not midnight this year, thankfully, for people like Josh and I. It will be on at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on June 10th. Some other weird time zone in the West Coast that Dev would know better about. It's like
it's the same time we're doing this right now.
Yeah,
perfect. 6:30.
Yeah.
Is it 6:30 your time? Okay. So 6:30 West Coast time if you're one of those weirdos. But anyway,
do you guys watch Game of Thrones when it's daylight?
No. I mean, I usually watch it after it's already aired. Like,
but it's on like during the daytime for you guys over there, right?
Not really. Because you have HBO East and you have HBO West, so we have the same time. So it still comes on at 9, unless you're one of those weird people who has DirecTV and only the East Coast channels. Then There's a problem. Okay,
all right, then I forgive the West Coast. Then, all right.
But you know what? It really sucks because you got to stay off Twitter at 6 o'clock because, of course, everybody wants to talk about it and spoil it. So it's like, got to sign off everything.
Good call. Good. I'm glad I got my tangent in early. Let's get this train off the tracks now.
So we're gonna go around the table here. We each brought two things that we definitely want to see, what we hope to see, and that we are pretty safe saying we're not going to see this happen.
Brink.
No spoilers here. So we have not reviewed our list with each other to kind of keep some excitement and maybe make us think a little bit like, I didn't think of that. So if somebody gives an answer that you already have, just feel free to chime and say, oh, hey, I also had it on my list, and kind of talk about it in your perception there too. So I will go first. Definitely going to see, and unfortunately in my book, we're going to see more Elder Scrolls Online, because every year for the last 3 years they've done this, they dedicated like a good 10 to 20 minutes to Elder Scrolls Online, which I'm just not into. But they will definitely do it. They'll announce some sort of expansion or keep going with it, which kind of boggles my mind because when you think about online games, especially like this style of format, you have like World of Warcraft, you have all these other games, and this one I never hear people talking about, but yet they are doing something else every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly somebody's playing it. I don't know anybody that does, but somebody's got to be doing it. So definitely in my book, we're going to see more of that, I think, because I don't see that train slowing down for them at all. So that's my first pick for we're definitely going to see in Bethesda's showcase. Let's go with Josh.
Okay. So this is like my ballpark, like call my shot. We're definitely going to see a new Quake for consoles.
Hey.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey.
So they have Quake Champions coming out for Windows, supposedly. And I'm hoping I'm not spoiling anyone's thing, but that's been announced that they're working on it. But
well, yeah, I mean, they showed it the last year. They showed it last year too. So
right, with the success of Doom, there's no, and it's been out long enough. There's no way they haven't been working on a Quake for console. We're definitely going to see that, and maybe that's wishful thinking. I'm totally in for Quake because you have all shooters are dominating the market right now. Multiplayer shooters. Quake, there's no story in Quake. It's
Right.
going to be all like fast paced. We don't have Unreal Tournament anymore.
Oh, it's a shame.
Quake can come out and they can just take that market, that fast, arcadey multiplayer shooter. There's no way we don't see a new Quake for consoles.
Makes sense. It makes sense. The let's see, Quake Champions was released in closed beta on April 6, 2017. The game was released into Steam's early access on August 23rd, 2017. So it looks like it's been early access for.
So maybe we even get
almost
like
a year.
Xbox early access.
That's true. I can see that. All right, that's a good one. I didn't think of that. Dev, first on your list.
Okay, so I'm actually going to do both of mine back to back because mine tie into both of yours, but in a different way.
Okay.
So you say we're going to see more Elder Scrolls Online, which I absolutely agree with. But I think we're also going to finally see the next numbered Elder Scrolls game.
Oh.
I think it's time.
I have that on my not going to happen list. But all right, go ahead. I'll rebut after. So good.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's time. We've been doing the song and dance with the Elder Scrolls Online, like you said, and I do have a couple of friends who actually still play it, so it's still getting enough, players to keep it viable. But I think people are like really itching to see the new numbered game in that series, the more single player one. So I think we're going to see that. And then for my second one, I think we're going to see a Quake Battle Royale game. I mean.
You said the four-letter word.
I mean, it's Battle Royale season right now. We saw what Blops did. So, I mean, if you want to get in where you fit in, we got Quake Champions. And then all new, we got the Battle Royale mode as well. So, let's go.
Yeah, I think so. To comment on the Battle Royale thing, first off, we're going to hear that so many freaking times this E3, I feel, because so we know Black Ops has it. It's rumored that Battlefield is going to have it, and I guarantee there'll be more stuff that pop up that have it. And Quake would fit that model, I think, and that would be a really great, fast-paced. That would be fun. I can see that happening.
Esports, man, esports.
That's true, and that they'd be all over Quake for sure. Elder Scrolls. So yeah, just to jump in, just because that was on my not going to happen list, so I'm checking that off my list right now. The only reason I don't think it's going to happen is Bethesda has a history, especially the last couple of years, of announcing something and it's out within the same calendar year most of the time. Like it'll be out by the end of the year. I don't think that Elder Scrolls can be one of those titles. And I don't think they would announce at an E3 and then say, but it's going to be out much later. Now they could be ready to release this thing. I agree 100%. It is time for another one because they've spent so much time on Skyrim, putting it out on everything. My TI-82 calculator can play Skyrim at this point. So it's definitely time. But for me, I don't see it coming. And I'll jump. This will tie then into my definitely going to happen. The reason I don't think you're going to see Elder Scrolls is because I think you're definitely going to see another Fallout. And the only reason I say that, while I agree they should go back and forth, they already have all the models for Fallout 4. That was designed on this gen, whereas Elder Scrolls was only remastered for this gen. So Fallout, I think that'd be easier.
Fallout's on mine. We're not gonna see it.
So this works out perfect. So yeah, I think it's like Fallout would be an easier one to pump out and do quickly. When you look at when Fallout 3 came out and then Fallout New Vegas, it was like the same time frame. Like that was able to come out fairly quick. So I think we might get another quick hit on Fallout before we see that Elder Scrolls. That might be partially just me wishful thinking here and really wanting another Fallout more than an Elder Scrolls, but that's just what I think is going to happen. So, Josh, then your second definitely going to happen.
We're definitely going to see a new IP from Bethesda.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because they have 2, maybe 3 series that are about to end. And that I'll get into that with our next topic.
Okay.
I think that Bethesda probably were working on it at last E3, and they, you know how secretive they are and how like they do all these weird things. And maybe that's like what everyone thinks is the new Fallout. Maybe it's not even Fallout in space.
That's true.
I think we're definitely going to see a new IP, whether it's that game or not. They're really smart about their marketing, and I don't think they're going to be one of those companies that's going to talk about a new IP until it's ready. Just kind of like how they like last year, like we're going to have these games out this year. You know, no one did that last year, but Bethesda. Right. So I think we're going to see we're definitely going to see a new IP from Bethesda. Now
there was that squad-based shooter game that they did scrap that they showed 2 E3s like in a row. I forget what it was. It had something to do with time, I think. I don't remember what it was, but it was like what was it called? I cannot remember, but I know they mentioned it at least 2 years ago. If not, maybe it wasn't last year too. But 2 years ago, I'll have to do some research while you guys are talking next. There was something that they scrapped, and maybe that comes back from the grave, and that's the new IP. But yeah, historically, except for that one exception that I can think of, they don't announce something unless it's definitely going to happen. So that's a good call. All right, so we'll move on to what we wish we would see Bethesda do, and this time, Dev, why don't you go first?
All right, so my wish list for Bethesda, I'm just a sucker for Dishonored, so I just want to see more Dishonored. I mean, I don't think we're gonna see more. I kind of feel like that series actually may be finished, but as far as my wish list is concerned, I definitely would like to see just more in that series because I love it. I love Dishonored. It's a lot of fun. I like the art style. I like the kind of time period that it's supposed to be in. So I would love to see, just give me some more Dishonored.
All right. I kept that off my list, but I'm there with you. I want more Dishonored too. And they've done a lot with Dishonored in the last couple of years when you think about it too. They had 1, 2, and then the standalone expansion there too. So they've done a lot. So I think they definitely could pump out another one there too. Josh, what do you see on your wish list there?
All right, so this one has 2 things in it, but it's not my 2. I think we see the end of Dishonored and Evil Within, number 3s rounding off a trilogy. Mm-hmm. And then they've done a lot with both of those games, but they have so much going for them as a company. I think you don't need to keep doing them so much, but if they can end these stories in like a nice trilogy kind of way, at least that's what I would like to see. And then working with that new IP or whatever, start something new, start a new page. They'll always do Fallouts. That's just going to happen. We don't need Dishonored 5, Evil Within 7. We don't need that. It's not Capcom. So I think that they can wrap those 2 games up with a third game proper, not just like a add-on, like Evil Within 3, Dishonored 3, wrap it up.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's what I would like to see.
That makes sense. So the game I was referencing was announced by Bethesda E3 2015. It was Battle Cry was the name of it. It was a 32-player multiplayer shooter game, and it was scrapped after a year. They never brought it back to life again after that. But that's what it was. I knew there was something. I just couldn't remember the name of it. All right, so first on my wish list, and Josh is going to roll his eyes here, but Coach is going to be really happy because I'm calling for the return of Brink.
That's my second one.
While I don't have a ton of I don't have as much love as Coach did for Brink, I did have fun with it when it was out. I did play it. I got it from Best Buy, like real cheap on clearance, go figure. And I had fun with it. I liked what it tried to do. I liked the mechanics it put in place, and it was fun. It just wasn't well polished. So I think after this much time, much like what we're seeing with Rage, at least what we've seen so far from Rage, is that looks pretty sharp. They're doing the right things, I think, with Rage. They could do the same things with Brink. Now, that being said, I think the two might step on each other's toes, though, too, if they try and do these are all coming out this year. If they do, Rage 2 like this holiday season and then push that one out to Brink out till next year, that makes a little more sense. But for me, I think it's time. I think it's worth salvaging. I think it did some things right, and I'd like to see it come back. So that's on my wish list that I'd like to see. I don't think it's very likely, but I'd like to see that pop up. So Josh, that was your second one on your actual wish list, though? Or
No, I was joking.
Oh, okay. I figured. I was a little surprised. I'm like, wait, what? So, Dev, what is the second thing on your wish list?
The second thing on my wish list was something that was kind of mentioned, like just a new IP. I'd like to see just something different from Bethesda. I mean, outside of the Elder Scrolls and your Wolfensteins and just all of that type of stuff, just something new and different. I like when they innovate and create new things. Like Rage was a great game, like a great idea. It didn't pan out the way it was supposed to or the way they hoped. But the fact that it had enough something there to even bring back a sequel like years later just shows that when Bethesda has an idea for something and they really want to go in, they go in and they end up perfecting it and it becomes something great that everybody wants to play. So I would love to see just a new IP. If it's something like a shared world shooter or something like that, like an Anthem or a Division or a Destiny, I would love to see something like that from Bethesda. See what their take on that genre would be.
That'd be pretty cool. Even if they took some of their IPs and just applied it to mentality like that. I know you want something new, but like a shared world shooter in like the Fallout universe would be kind of cool. If you have different factions and stuff like that, that'd be kind of that'd work. All right, Josh, second thing on your wish list then.
So something Bethesda does really well, I think, is if you look at Wolfenstein and Dishonored, they put out quality non-sequels, like extra content, like Old Blood.
Yep.
I would like to see them do that for Doom. I don't think they're ready for another Doom yet, but I think that they could definitely put out something that is story, like campaign based, to pick up after the story from Doom. Who knows where they would go with it, but something that gives you a little bit more longevity for the Doom story, not just the multiplayer aspect of it. So that's what I would like to see them do.
That's going. So the second thing on my wish is a little bit different. Nothing specific as far as IP or game, but what I'd like to see from Bethesda is both more and better support for Nintendo Switch. Only because they've had this train, they got Doom, they got Wolfenstein coming, and it's good. But my number one complaint was it's too late, and we see that a lot on Switch, where like something comes out, it's like, hey, this is coming out to Switch too, but it's really late, so it's like I lose interest there. I'd like to see some day and date releases or something special that's not currently available. One of the things rumored, I don't take it very seriously, but I've seen it pop up in a few different sources that Fallout 3, the remaster when it went to Xbox, would make its way to Nintendo Switch. I'd be excited for that only because that's something you can't just pick up right now and play. So like it'd be cool to get that, but ideally I'd like to see some of these things come. So like if the Evil Within 3 comes out, that it's also available on Nintendo Switch or something like that. I'd like to see those types of things happen. I think developers need to start getting on that train, and maybe we see some of that this E3, because last E3 they were all scared of what the Switch was going to do and what it was. They didn't really know. They were all like, well, we need to see better numbers. Well, when it's almost doubling the sales of Xbox on a weekly basis, you got to start paying attention to it. You can't continue to just ignore that if you're trying to make some money. So it's time. Let's see somebody step up. And I think if anybody was going to do it right now, I can only think of a few studios, but I think Bethesda would want to take it serious because they're already kind of doing as much as they can behind the 8-ball to get their product on Nintendo Switch. If they can just start catching up with it, it'd be even better.
Yeah, I kind of have that wish list for all the studios. Like we were talking about earlier this week. Stop porting stuff old. Like, create games for the Switch. Either do it day and date, or if it's not day and date, do it kind of like with the PC, where you get it like a couple of weeks to a month later.
That's still fine. Totally.
Yeah. Other than that, like, create something for the Switch. Don't just try and port a game just because you want to just put something out there. let's create experiences on the Switch that are Switch worthy. Like, I don't want to just play the exact same game. Like, do something different with the Switch. That hardware is unique. So let's create some experiences where there's enough of them out there to where you're gonna make money. And we all know the people that have Switches will buy games. Like, so just let's get on the ball, devs. Let's get with it.
It's true, because I mean we're seeing all these indie developers come out and saying like, hey, I made a profit in the first day releasing this game on the Switch, or I've sold more on the Switch than I did on Xbox and PlayStation when it's been out for 2 years. So like the Switch owners are ready to play.
Yeah, they're hungry for games, man.
And if it's the right game, they'll buy it. That's the thing. You look at these games like Owlboy said it turned a profit day one on Switch. That's crazy for something that isn't even on. I don't believe it's on Xbox and PS4. It's only on PC and Switch, I believe. So things like that. It's like we need to see more of that stuff coming along the way. So hopefully our wishes come true there. So let's move on to not gonna happen. So I only have one left since you stole my Elder Scrolls was gonna happen. Mine not gonna happen, and I wish it would, because the last one was so darn good. I don't think we're seeing any Wolfenstein this year. I think they need to take at least a year off, whether they do another standalone thing like the Old Blood, like Josh mentioned, or it's an actual sequel. I think it is coming 100% because this last one was great and people loved it. It may not have sold what they thought it was going to, but I think that was due to when it released versus critical acclaim, because the critics loved it. A lot of us here have played it, and I absolutely loved it. So I think it just needs to take a year off at least before we see anything. So I'm not banking on any Wolfenstein this year. So Josh, I think both of your not going to happens are still intact, right?
Yeah, and they've both kind of been mentioned in other categories. But I decided to not say anything.
Okay.
Just for suspense, because people are going to hate me.
All right. So we'll give one of yours, and then we'll jump to Dev for the second.
Yeah, we'll do the first one. Not only is it not going to happen, it's never going to happen.
Oh.
Brink 2 will never be ever made. I'm sorry to Coach. I know some people like that game, but Kevin said exactly why this will not happen. I remember probably 50 copies of Brink sitting in a $4 bin at Best Buy.
That's still wouldn't move.
And it was unheard of. You would never see 360 games at that price, especially at that time. The value games were $20. Right. We couldn't move Brink. The game was okay, but had a lot more flaws than it did have positives.
Sure.
And it was definitely not marketed well. If Bethesda they wouldn't even think about it. They would just make a new game. There's no reason for them to revisit Brink besides Coach Mo.
Right. But you could say a lot of the same things for Rage, because I'm pretty sure I got Rage for like $10 less too. And yet here we are, and people are excited.
I'm very surprised that they're doing Rage 2.
Yeah, I mean, Rage is the best game we didn't know, the best sequel we didn't know we wanted in the first place. Right? But now everyone's like, heck yeah, let's do this. I'm ready for Rage. And you're like, you never would have thought that.
You know who's excited for Rage 2 is the people waiting for Borderlands 3.
That is the honest to God truth, because that is exactly what I see when I saw that trailer. I was like, this just makes me want Borderlands 3 really bad.
Yeah, it's Mad Max and Borderlands combined together.
That's true.
And
see, I took it more as like, I took it more as like, hey, this will settle me over if I don't get any Fallout, because I don't know, just because the art style is different, I think. But no, I get that, because Fallout and Borderlands are very similar, just the art style and the writing is a little different. That's about it. Where Rage's writing is probably more in line with Borderlands anyway.
It might be good, but it's something that, you know, they're beating Borderlands 3 to the punch.
Pretty much.
We think.
Well, style-wise. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
At least announcement-wise, they're beating Borderlands 3 to the punch.
Definitely. Which who knows if that was intentional? I still wonder now. Like they've done a great job teasing that whole like thing, like since was it Walmart Canada messed up and put it out there. Like I wonder if that was not staged by them, but like I wonder if they planned a pre-E3 announcement, because if they didn't, if that wasn't planned to be teased before E3, they did a whole lot in a very short period of time to grab it and run. Like
then their marketing department needs a raise, because if they did that, good job.
That is awesome, because they just basically took the ball in their hand and said, all right, we're just gonna take this and run with it.
Yeah. And the crazy part is too, so even after we'll get to you in a second, but even after this whole came out and they showed the teaser trailer and then the gameplay trailer, a rep from Bethesda said that this year's show may be in fact their longest show they've done too. So now we're definitely, Josh and I talked a little about this offline before we hopped on, that we're definitely seeing more Rage 2 at E3, but they don't need to spend as much time on it because they've already, chiseled away it. They might show more gameplay, maybe talk some features, maybe talk the story a little bit, but they don't need to spend as much time. So if this still may be their longest presentation, what else do they have up their sleeve to just keep dropping on us besides, 30, 40, 50 minutes of Elder Scrolls Online? But, we'll see. So, Dev, what is your second on the not going to happen list then, since Fallout is not going to happen in your book?
It's Prey. We aren't going to see anything Prey. I think Prey is about to take the slow death. It just didn't do what it was supposed to. And I think that it's going to end up going back to the drawing board or disappearing a la Rage and then maybe coming back at another point in time.
Yeah, Prey was a big flub for them because they, how many iterations of Prey did we see over the past 5 years? And in the final product was absolutely nothing like the first version of the game.
Not even close.
So what if I told you that I heard a rumor that there's going to be Prey DLC at this year's E3? Now, whether or not that's standalone, that might be standalone, like Death of the Outsider from Dishonored 2. But I've heard that there's rumors that Prey 2 will not Prey 2, but Prey will be there in some sort of downloadable content format. So
then I'd say you made a liar out of me.
Well, it's just a rumor, Dev.
I'm just pointing out because I heard that, and I was going to bring that up at the end of the show, saying we know Rage 2 is going to be there, we know, and I heard that rumor there too. But I still haven't played Prey. I played the demo and I liked it, but you're right, it's not anything that they initially marketed there too, and I haven't gotten to play the actual game yet. It's still in my pile of shame, along with Dishonored 2, the Death of the Outsider, to still get to. So I definitely do still want to play it, but I think you're right. That game, people talked about it a lot when it first came out for like 2 weeks, and then it was just gone. Nobody mentioned it anymore. So it didn't have that running power that Wolfenstein 2 did, where people talk about it for a while. But honestly, even Dishonored 2 almost had that same syndrome where it came out, people were hyped, and then gone. Nobody talked about it anymore. So it almost seems to be a trend amongst Bethesda games that aren't the super long Elder Scrolls Fallout games that take you forever to beat anyway, that people just kind of beat it, say, all right, that was cool, and then move on to the next one. But if people buy it,
I was gonna say that's kind of the trend for like these single player story games.
Totally. Yep.
It's just like they're here, everybody's excited, we enjoy it for the time that we have it, and then it's a single player game until there's like DLC for it, they just kind of disappear from the mind. It's just like, okay, what are we playing now? Oh, there's DLC for this, and then we'll talk about it then. So it's just really interesting, and I the whole death of single player games talk just it frustrates me. But it's exactly what happens. Like we'll have a single player game. We'll play through the content. We'll be all hype about it. And then it's not talked about for a while until DLC comes, if at all.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Josh, bring us home with your last on the not going to happen list.
Okay, there's an exception. So with the exception of Wolfenstein 2, we will not see anything for the Switch at all. And we may never see anything for the Switch. Again,
Really? You think?
They don't make games, no offense to the Switch. I love my Switch. Bethesda's games, they don't translate to the Switch.
That's true.
And the Switch doesn't have the infrastructure for online the way that you would play a Bethesda game. You're not going to see Elder Scrolls. You're not going to see a current gen Fallout. You're not going to see, I can't imagine they show anything from Wolfenstein gameplay wise on the Switch. They might just cover it. I watched Jason play Doom on the Switch streaming. It doesn't look great.
And see, that's exactly my point, is why they need to just make a game for the Switch. Stop porting stuff. Let's create a unique experience, a unique game for the Switch from Bethesda.
But I think you can be a developer and not have a game out on every console.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it. We've seen it obviously for a long time, but I think Dev's point, if you think about it, they could even do what Ubisoft did with Assassin's Creed, where it was making a series for the Vita and then a series for the consoles. If they did Fallout something, and it's only on the Switch, that would be a huge thing for both, I think, Bethesda and for people to want to buy a Switch if they're into that universe. Because I know the Elder Scrolls and Fallout fans are very diehard, and if you say, hey, this experience is only available on this,
sure,
that's even if it's not great. And you got to remember, and Donnie makes fun of us all the time. As Bethesda fans, we forgive them for their glitches and bugs because they normally deliver a fantastic narrative on things. So you can have some flaws there, put it out on the Switch, and people overlook it because it's Bethesda. That's what we expect in their massive worlds, that they do. So
yeah, but if you look at Bethesda and look at patches, right,
Mhm.
and look at data, and look at the Switch.
Yeah,
Good point.
If you have to patch Wolfenstein 2 with a 20 gigabyte update because you launched the game broken,
yeah.
you're gonna have to go buy a new memory card for your Switch just for one game. So they just don't. And it's the audience. We won't see a Call of Duty on Switch. There is a small group of people who want that, but I should say it's a large group of people, but a small group of owners of Switches that want that.
I think what it is people want to see it, but they don't actually want to buy it. Yeah, it's like, I'd like to see all these games come to Switch, but if it came there, I probably still wouldn't buy it there. It's like Donnie with South Park, and I know we made fun of him, and he
oh my god, yes,
he even took shots at you. I don't know if you heard Nintendo Shack. He took a shot at you, Dev, for making fun of him on it. But so Donnie specifically waited to buy South Park on the Switch, paid the $60 to not get Stick of Truth as well, and not have the DLC available. Like, you can get a Game of the Year edition or the Gold edition, whatever it was, for PlayStation 4 and Xbox for $20 or less right now. But he spent the $60 to get the partial version on Switch, played it for 10 hours and traded it. But in his own words, he goes, well, I traded it while the value was high. Okay, you didn't need to spend that much money in the first place is what everyone else was telling you. Not right. It wasn't the issue, Donnie, that you traded the game in. It's the fact that you waited to buy this version, overpaid for it, and then traded in and still got back, still your net loss was still more than what you could have paid to just buy the gold version right now and get everything.
Yeah, don't forget this is the perfect game for Switch. It's perfect on Switch. Get out of here. Stop it.
Although I do think South Park is an ideal game to play on Switch. Not saying you can play it on the console, but in my mind, that's a great one you could pick up and play. Not a lot of it's not a graphics powerhouse. It's not going to take a lot to run it. So, and it probably look really good portable. You're not going to have any of that descaling issues when you dropped from dock to portable. So in my mind, yeah, it would have been great. But when you look at $60 versus $20 and you get a lot more content for the 20,
if they were all the same price, I'd be buying it on the Switch.
Totally. I'm with you there. And I think that's what we're picking on for. So, all right. I think, that wraps us up for Bethesda. We kind of talked about everything we have there. So I will say personally, Bethesda, and I've said this every year, is one of my favorite developers. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'm so grateful they decided to move the time up a little bit. So even if it's like an hour and a half, that still wraps up at 11. Which is great. But yeah, hoping for a lot of big things from them. As always, they seem to kind of deliver and then follow up with those promises and release within the same year, if not, next calendar year. Yep. So hopefully they continue that trend there because they've been on a roll for a developer that wasn't known for putting out, 6, 7, 8 games a year. They've been doing it the last couple of years and bringing it for something that you go back and people didn't even recognize back in the day. So kudos to Bethesda. So that wraps up this episode of Play Some Video Games. Devin, where can people find you and what you're working on, sir?
Oh, you can find me at DevAtias on Twitter. Just come holler at me, talk some trash. Whatever your thoughts are, it's fine. We can just go back and forth. Other than that, you can find me on the OT when we have them. Every other week will be a full one. The other weeks will be mini OTs like today. That's where you can find me. Also, come check us out in our PSVG Discord chat. I love talking trash in there too. So come through.
Yeah, you get to see in the Discord the behind-the-scenes drama that we talk about on the podcast. You'll actually be experiencing it firsthand if you join us there in the Discord. So, Josh, where can people find you, and what are you up to?
Discord is a very aptly named app, by the way. It's very appropriate. I don't think a lot of people pick up on that. So I do this show. It's called Board of the Video Games with I don't do it. Kyle does it. I'm there for the ride. So check us out. We're weekly. Kevin himself will be our guest, our first guest on our 33rd episode. Tomorrow night we're recording it so we can all do it together, and it will drop Thursday. If you go back and listen 2 episodes back, we have a little contest going on. So if you are a listener and you haven't participated, and get on that. That's all I'll do for plugs, really, just to check us out. We get a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the next few months. So, check us out, Board of the Video Games.
How do you spell that, Josh?
Oh, that's a BOARD with video games, or VG on Instagram. Same thing. It's BOARD with VG on Instagram, BOARD with VG on Twitter, and then that's BOARD with video games at gmail.com. And that's facebook.com/BOARD with VG.
I was dying in my car when you did that in the most recent episode. I'm like, is he really doing it? And you just kept
So
going.
mad.
I imagine he was. Because he was like, we're going long, we're running out of time. And Josh for 5 minutes does that. Oh, but yes, check out the show. Make sure to hit us up on the website, psvg.blog now. We changed it up with a different format. Nice, clean look there. You still get all your information stuff right there. We do, as always, ask you to please share with a friend. Odds are there's something here in the network that will appeal to everybody, or at least we hope that's the case. So please share with a friend. And that's, you can also find us facebook.com/play some video games, youtube.com/PSVG. I think it is now. I think they had to change it. But yeah, check out all the things we do. But most importantly, boys and girls, remember to never stop gaming.